Who knew a brick could become a hammer?
Apparently Trim UI did, because they took the already awesome brick and turned it into a brick hammer. But is it gonna break the bank?
This $100 into my savings. I am saving for one of those new metal brick hammers.
Hey, my guy, I got news for you. That $100 will easily get it, especially with my coupon codes. But yes, the brick hammer is here. We do have the rose gold version in hand. And we're going to talk about this today and take a look at it and find out, is it worth the premium price, which is not really that premium if you think about it, unless that little negative guy shows up.
So you are saying it's literally the same thing, just in a boring, hot, heavy metal shell? Yes, I'm back to stop you from fanboying.
Oh, Lord, here we go again. Let's hop in.
Before he fanboys about his precious metal, I just wanted to say the original plastic brick is an amazing device with a beautiful screen.
So while metal may be his favorite, for many of you, the original will do just fine, with one caveat.
Oh boy, are you going to not be completely negative? He is right. There is one, maybe two things that are actually better about the metal brick. So let's start with this. I do love metal. He's not wrong about that. I especially love metal vertical handhelds. The Mod Retro Chromatic here has a beautiful metal shell with a nice coating that I haven't really seen on other handhelds, that I'd like to see it. And of course, Liao Zhang's Pixel line, the original and the Pixel 2, that I love quite a bit. Look at the gorgeousness of this little handheld. And there is not a plastic version of this, so this one you're stuck with metal. But today is all about the brick. And let's start by examining that box. The box itself is actually not any different. As we take a look at the box here, we can see that it's the same box that shipped with the original. It doesn't even have the purple or red on the front, just the original black and white. But there is a sticker they've added here. So it does have a little sticker indicating that this is a little different. It does say brick hammer on the front of it and Trim UI brick on the side. We do have that purpose built to inspire your imagination at the bottom, along with some of the specs here of it. Moving around the side, we do have the colorway, and there is a big old pink sticker here. Now, I refer to this as rose gold, which it looks like to me rose gold, but they are calling this pink on the box, so I'm not sure which is the official color. There's nothing else around the sides, but then once we get to the back, we do have those specs. And looking at those specs, again, we do have a 3.2-inch beautiful screen, which I think me and Negative Deadfred can agree on is very much the star of the show. It is a metal back shell, it does RGB, and it does have those removable keycaps. So really the same package. Taking this thing and open it up and looking inside, once we get the package here, we get the handheld out of the way, and immediately you can feel the heft. It's a little heavier, but we do have a manual. And this is pretty much the same manual we saw before. It is in simple Chinese and English. And it's, somewhat useful as far as manuals go, but kind of boring. We do have a USB-C cable here. Normal USB-A to C cable, nothing fancy. And then we have those extra caps. Now, one thing I want to mention about this, when we talked about the caveat, the caps fit much better. They're much tighter. I found on my original brick here, often the caps would fall off pretty easily, but these are on pretty tight. So it seems like the tolerances have improved because I didn't find these coming off very easily. In fact, taking them off was actually a little bit more challenging than the original. So that's a good thing there. So let's put this back and let's kind of start talking about the metal version of the brick. And if you haven't yet, please go watch our original review of the original brick and see what we thought about it then, because pretty much months later, we only like it more. Hey you, did you just get that new Nintendo Switch 2? But it only comes with Joy-Cons and you want something that's better for your Mario Kart. Well, how about this? This is the Gulikit Elves Pro 2 in the Sega Saturn style. It also comes in a black style. We want to thank our friends at Amazon.com for sending this over for us to take a look at. But let me tell you that this machine, this controller, is amazing. It works perfectly on Switch 2. It has Hall sticks, and we know Gulikit makes the best Hall sticks adapters you can get. It also comes in this really nifty, cool case, as you can see right here. Wow, what a beautiful controller we have here. You can store and play and use on PC and other systems as well. I find that this is a nice stick and a really nice D-pad. Boy, do I love the D-pad on this thing. This has really surpassed my 8-bit dough, and the vibration on this thing is perfect. Anyways, hit the link below if you'd like to pick one of these up from Amazon from yourself. Again, we want to thank Amazon for sending this over to us for a look and review, and we found that this is a great controller. All right, and make sure if you want a better, more innovative review of controllers, go check the expert, go check our friend Clef. He has all the info on all the best controllers. But this one is really good for Switch 2, and it's just really good overall. Anyways, back to the show. Okay, starting off, this is a beautiful CNC machined shell. This feels solid, much like we're used to. I would say that the quality of this is as premium as I had hoped and expected. But the price in some cases is as little as just $10 more for this nice little shell. And that $10 is a small amount to get the premium, which gives you so much more.
So basically, you're paying $10 to have it sink your pocket like a bag of rocks. Just go plastic, man. It's great enough.
Come on, man, that's a little extreme. I mean, yes, this thing is a little heavier than the original plastic one. It is on average about 22% heavier than the plastic version, coming in at 196 grams, but that's not exactly a sack of rocks in your pocket. So, while yes, we love the plastic one, and if you get that's very good, but for those of you that do appreciate the finer things in life and think that metal is an improvement overall, we say that that 22% increase is worth it. But enough of his nonsense. Let's get in and talk about the hardware. And yes, these are, again, really good buttons. Now, I do have this pink or rose gold colorway, and I like these pink buttons. I think they look fantastic. It seems that every release that TrimUI does, their buttons get better, much like AYRJGF. And while these are probably really exactly the same as the plastic version, I don't know, they just seem a little bit better. Maybe it's a placebo. Similarly, moving on to this D-pad, and we have an excellent D-pad. The D-pad feels very much similar to the other one. In fact, having these two side by side and pressing the buttons, it's hard pressed to see a lot of difference between the buttons and the D-pad. For all intents and purposes, they probably are made and manufactured the same way, but something about having that cold metal filling below the buttons just adds a little extra to it that I think I personally like. Moving to the buttons on the bottom, and they're still a little clicky and loud. And then you have these two light buttons in the middle, which are really awesome because software allows you to, manipulate them. On the bottom here, you have a single SD card slot, along with the reset button, a USB-C port, and a headphone jack. And much like the original, we do have another USB-C port here on the top. Speaking of these shoulder buttons, these seem to have a tighter tolerance. As I mentioned earlier, these seem to fit better and they seem to not fall off in my pocket. A few times having these in my pocket, now these are third-party ones, I would find that they would fall off as I pulled this out of my pocket. But I didn't have any of that problem with this. And so I really do think that they've worked to make that much nicer in their manufacturing process. We have the FN function button on the side, the power button, and then we have a volume rocker on the left side. And then we have this light bar at the top, which is really neat. The other significant change here is the brick hammer right there. You can see that they did this really nice marquee looking thing, which I think is a beautiful touch, along with it engraved at the bottom saying brick hammer. So holding it side by side, you can see that the original Although my negative friend didn't mention it, the original plastic does have some metal. So there is metal on it as well. But I like between the two seeing this little marquee up here. I think it's a nice touch, especially if you can get the lighting on it to reflect really nicely. So overall, this is a little bit heavier, on average about 22%, but hardware-wise, we're looking at the same layout. We're looking at the same quality of buttons and everything, except for the shoulder buttons have a tighter tolerance, and we have a little bit of a design change. Overall, I think this is a great trade-off, and I like it quite a bit. But I'm someone that loves metal. If you're more like negative Deadfred and don't really care for metal, this is not going to be much for you. There's not really any other downsides I can think of.
Did you mention how metal actually makes Wi-Fi worse? Yeah, I didn't think so. Deadheads, this may be a great choice, but there are downsides.
Okay, fair enough. But while Wi-Fi may not perform as good as it will in this one, we didn't really see a big difference. I think he's over-exaggerating the problem, although it is true that typically metal can interfere with Wi-Fi. We know this. But let's talk about the other awesome thing in here. While this thing is awesome, it does have a lot of great features to it. And one of the things that people really liked about this, and we liked, was the high resolution and PPI of it. It is, you know, a decent screen.
Now you want to be humble? The screen is the star of the show with its dense pixel per inch. Who cares about metal?
Oh, okay. He's right. The star of this is not the metal, although I love the metal, but because TrimUI has offered this in both varieties, and you can get either one, the screen is the star of the show here. This is probably the absolute best screen that you can get at under 3.5 inches. It is very pocketable, even with the 22% metal tax on it in the weight. But this screen is gorgeous. As I show some game footage here, we love this screen. The high density of it and the pixel resolution is just beautiful. It pops, the colors are great, and it's the same screen. In playing and testing, I did not see any difference in the screen. We're getting the same high quality screen we have here. Now, it could be said that if you drop this thing and you have metal here, it might protect the screen a little more than the plastic, but it's highly unlikely. And remember, on the back, we do have metal on the original plastic version as well. So this is also running the same CPU, and I was a little concerned because we know with the original TrimUI Smart Pro, which runs the A133P, that we did experience some heat from time to time. Running on this, you could feel a little warmth on this back plate, this heat sink. And so I was a little curious to find out if this one was going to be worse. A lot of people made that expectation, but I'm glad to tell you here that overall, this did not seem worse. In fact, between the two, this felt a little bit warm in my testing, which is probably due to the more even distribution of heat across the whole metal rather than just centered on this little plate. So again, if you're concerned about this was too warm or whatever, this one is a tad bit better, although you're going to feel warmth, don't get me wrong. So let's sum up and wrap up this review of the Brick Hammer. We essentially have a TrimUI brick that has been transformed into a brick hammer, which means it has this nice metal shell. The only other thing that I want to mention that was a little bit of a bonus here, and I think it is because it's the full metal shell, this thing sounds a little bit better.
Unicom Development Limited Entertainment Software Games. Electronic fun.
I was a little surprised at the sound coming out of this. I think it reverbs better out of the metal shell, and that's why. I'm not sure if they use different components. If anybody can verify that, I would love to know. But between the two, I found this one to sound just a little bit better, enough better that it made a difference. So overall, yes, Deadfred loves the Brick Hammer. Negative Deadfred says save your $10 and go for the original. I think either way, you're going to find a fantastic, everyday, pocketable handheld that took more than 2.5 years to develop. The original TrimUI brick we saw was quite different than what we got, and I'm glad because they did the deed. Now, for those of you who are wondering about the Trim UI store, I have a coupon down there, and I did order this through the store, and it did ship to me. So they are legitimate. Whether they're a drop shipper or just connected, affiliated, I don't know. But I did want to say they're a legit store. So if you want to order from them, fine. Pal Kitty is also selling on the website. So leave me a comment and let me know. Do you think the brick hammer is necessary? I, for one, think there's many of you out there that are intrigued by Anbernic's 477M but don't like metal and would love to have a plastic version. So for me, I wish more companies would do both. Give us the choice. Gamers want choices. Remember to love your hugged ones and hug your loved ones because tomorrow is never promised. We'll see you next time, Deadheads. From me and Negative Deadfred, we're out.